And welcome to Sunday Morning Matters Extra. You can find us on yourcentralvalley.com. Jim Verros, Diane Pearce joining me on this episode. You know, there was something that really came out, was like a big hot button issue, and it really burned up social media. It's where the San Francisco Board of Supervisors decided to pass a resolution. And it almost sounds crazy, but it's getting a lot of play. They have labeled the NRA, quote unquote, domestic terrorists. District 2 Supervisor Catherine Stephanie says the NRA, quote, musters its considerable wealth and organizational strength to promote gun ownership and incite gun owners to acts of violence, end quote. How do you guys stand on this? I know people are saying this is almost laughable, but it's happening. It did happen. And they have a label in San Francisco, does the NRA, that they're domestic terrorists. Is
this the same organization that banned plastic bottles at airports? Mm-hmm. This is more San Francisco stuff. I think politically it plays well to their base. I think that they have to always be on the extreme left. Mm-hmm. I think San Francisco's electoral, they have to be at the forefront. They were at the forefront of straws. They were at the forefront of, you know,
plastic bags.
Even go farther than that. When Gavin Newsom was mayor, there was a proposal to ban circumcision within the city limits of San Francisco. They've always been at the forefront of stuff like this. I think politically, what it does is it's going to allow conservative areas to say, okay, fine, you want the NRA to be domestic terrorists? Cool. We're going to tag Planned Parenthood as a domestic terrorist now because you guys commit abortion over there. That's where this is setting up now. I can already see the wheels turning in red states saying, okay, fine, you want to come after NRA? We're going to come after Planned Parenthood some more.
Is this, but one could say, and I'm just going to be devil's advocate out there, one could say, hey, this is a response to the mass shooting in Gilroy, that, hey, we need to do something, and if the president and if Congress isn't willing to step up, then you know what? We are going to label the NRA domestic terrorists, and we are going to bash them the best way we know how, in hopes that nobody in our city is going to buy their guns.
I think there's two things here. One, you said it's almost laughable. No, it's entirely laughable. But the second part is the quote you mentioned from the supervisor where she said they promote gun ownership and incite gun owners to commit acts of violence. That is preposterous, absolutely preposterous. The majority of these things we've seen, in particular, I think it was the Odessa shooter most recently, he shouldn't have had a gun. He legally could not own a gun. And there's so many other issues here that absolutely have nothing to do with the NRA. And I will say, though, that for conservatives, this is just another opportunity to point to the lunacy of liberals and say what's going on in San Francisco, you guys here in this state continue to send to Sacramento. Because we saw Gavin Newsom in San Francisco, he's now gone to Sacramento, and these things are going to follow. We are talking about a city that literally has poop maps. Okay, and now they're concerned about the NRA. Really, people? You have literal poop in your streets and maps to tell people how to avoid it.
Yeah, they don't want to take care of the, and that's a good argument. They don't want to take care of the homeless there in San Francisco, but yet they want to call the NRA and the organization domestic terrorists. Yeah. Will this, but they want other states and cities to follow. Could that seep into somewhere?
I can see that seeping into somewhere. I can, because the political pendulum always swings, conservative to liberal. My concern is whenever President Trump is out of office, is if it's this term or next, that political pendulum is going to swing more left. And it may sound silly now, but if conservatives don't take on the mass shootings and take it serious and don't just say thoughts and prayers anymore. They have to do something. And I don't have the answer. I'm not an elected official. I'm saying simply standing by and saying, well, it's just been a rough year for school shootings. No, they've got to do something to squash. I do agree with you that it is silly, but if you let it fester, if you let stuff from San Francisco and other uber liberal cities come up with these ideas, when it gets to the Rust Belt swing states,
and the question
it may not be as crazy, it will be diluted, but it will be in effect something like that.
The question is, and you know, look, Diane Feinstein is the senator from there, has her offices set up there.
Right.
Kamala Harris running for president, she's very much in tune to things like this, and she's gearing her campaign towards that. So if, let's just say, Kamala Harris wins the presidency, it could happen. It's not totally outrageous, right?
It's relatively outrageous,
well,
but it could
I mean,
happen.
I
It's
hear
not
you.
totally
No, I hear you, but go ahead.
outrageous.
No, right.
Yeah.
Could we see some of what we see in San Francisco head to the nation's capital?
No, I don't. I don't, because I think saying that they're a domestic, but there's nothing binding to that. What does that mean?
Right.
Well, it's binding in San Francisco now.
But you can't buy anything there anyways.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have their own set.
what kind of firearms can you buy in San Francisco? I mean, like, at a certain point, we can just come up with these names, but it's not binding.
It's not so much buying a firearm, it's so much putting them on blast for the responsibility of mass shootings. That's where they're coming
I know,
from.
and that's what's so ridiculous.
I would imagine.
Is because there's really no correlation. It's unfortunate. I mean, basically what they're trying to say is, you know, if you have a drunk driver who kills someone with a vehicle, now we're going to outlaw vehicles, and we're going to be very upset at the manufacturers of these vehicles. When it's not the vehicle's fault at all. It's not the gun, it's all the problems. There are people who shouldn't be behind the wheel. There are laws against those things, and there are people who go around those laws and cause and wreak havoc and end people's lives because of their decisions and their problems. But I also think on the presidential issue, and would this stuff go to Washington, I think that is the beauty of the Electoral College and how things are set up, because when you look at last year's midterms, what you see is we have a lot of districts, congressional districts, that have very liberal and progressive ideas. But then you see what happens in the totality of the states, and you see that Republicans actually gain seats in the Senate, even though there are a lot more progressives and Democrats in the House of Representatives. And I think that would hold true the same way with primary voters. You're going to have, I mean, look at what's going on right now in the Democrat primaries, is you have people racing to the left. They can't get far enough left. But once you get to a general election, you have to moderate. You have to come back to the center.
I'm not so concerned about the primary. What I'm concerned about is that if the Republicans don't engage and do something different in regards to semi-automatic firearms, they're going to continually get blamed from San Francisco, and that's going to get into the mainstream more and more. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but I'm telling you, if there isn't something done, just like when you were talking about drunk drivers, I'm sorry, but having DUI checkpoints stopped a lot of that. There needs to be something, and I don't know what it is, but simply saying it's not our fault and we're just going to keep going back to the same old, politically, it's not going to do great things for the Republicans moving forward.
Yeah, it's getting a little worn out, I guess you would say that.
Yes.
Jim Verros, Diane Pearce, thank you so much for joining us here on Sunday Morning Matters Extra. You can always catch it on yourcentralvalley.com, and Sunday Morning Matters every Sunday right after Meet the Press at 8 a.m.